Hey, this is Andy from Black Veil Brides, and you are watching PITCAM.tv.
Hey, I'm Monica with PITCAM, and I'm here with Andy from Black Veil Brides. Hey.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
I didn't know how this was going to go in terms of language, so it's nice to hear English. I thought I might have to fight through it, you know.
That's not going to be a
I
problem.
don't speak any German, so
Don't worry. How's the tour going?
it's going really well. I guess we're about, we're almost halfway through. It's crazy. Yeah, but this is a tour that's been kind of long time coming. I don't know if you can hear the siren in the background right now. That is the first band on the tour, Strawberry Blondes, who really, really great band. We've got Heaven's Basement out with us as well, who we've toured with before, and it's great to finally have this tour happen. You know, it's been, like I said, over a year that this has been, you know, we came for a little bit, and then we had to cancel, and now it's finally happening, and it's going really well.
What's it like for you guys touring over here compared to back home?
You know, it's little things that you don't really think about. You know, it's different for us in terms of size of rooms. Sometimes it's very, you know, it varies. In the U.S., tend to obviously be playing bigger places, or the U.K. we're playing bigger places than some of these markets over here that we've never been to before. You know, we're playing in clubs or small places, and it's fun to kind of go back to that environment because, you know, the connection and the intimacy with the audience is always really fun. So. And it's a weird thing, you know, I'm in a different country every single day. You know, it's not something that I'm used to when I'm touring in the States or in the UK. You're, you know, in one country, but, you know, now I don't even know where I was yesterday, and now I'm back in Germany. So, no, but it's good. It's all of the things that are different are things you get used to over time. And, you know, I would say the first time we ever toured in mainland Europe was difficult for all of us to adjust to, you know, but I think now we've kind of got it down.
Why was it difficult?
It's very different, you know. It's the American conveniences and the things you get used to, like anybody, you know, when you're out of your home country, regardless of where you're from, you start to miss the things that you know about, you know, whether it's a German person coming to America or, you know, us coming here. It's there's certain things that you absolutely need in your day-to-day life that you can't have sometimes. So, yeah, I would say that was probably the biggest thing, but now we've kind of got it down. We know what we're doing now.
It's been about a year now, almost a year since Wretched and Divine was released. How's this year been for you guys? Has the album opened up doors for you?
It's been a crazy year, yeah. It's crazy to think it's only been a year. You know, we've been touring, I think of 2013, we toured 9 or 10 months out of the year, so it's been a long cycle, and certainly a great one. This record has certainly been our largest in terms of mainstream appeal, or whatever you want to call it. And then also for us, it was definitely a milestone to do something that was so out of the box and different. You know, I've spent the last year talking about it, and I'm not sick of talking about it. It was something that is very important to us, and I think it's going to be tough for us to try to top, you know. So I think we're going to try to take some time after this cycle ends and really figure out what our next move is and what we want to do. We know we're going to make another album, but we're not really sure what it is yet. So, you know, coming off of the heels of something that was so huge for us, it's going to be interesting.
Has the album helped you shake the emo image?
I guess so. I've never really cared about any of that stuff, you know. Some people called us glam, and some people called us emo, and some people called us shit. So, you know, it's all right. For me, we're just Black Veil Brides. So whatever people want to call us, it doesn't really matter to me. All that subgenre stuff, I don't think I could even keep up with it. There's so many now that even from the time that, you know, now I'm removed from it, you know, there's new stuff that I don't even know about. So maybe, you know, we'll be some other crazy genre tomorrow. Who knows what the new thing will be.
Tell me about this movie you guys released, Legion of the Black.
It was essentially, we thought about when we were making the record, what would be a really good way to visually tell this story, because there's this whole complete tale that's on the record. And we wanted to find a way of representing that visually, and we just kind of said, instead of making music videos, let's just make a one, like, big, long, movie-esque kind of thing. And it was as simple as that, and I think it worked out well. And, you know, I got to see it in theaters, and it's definitely one of the highlights of my year was seeing my mom's reaction to seeing it in a theater, sitting next to her. It was definitely not something that people tend to associate with a rock band, particularly a young rock band, to be making a film that's being shown in cinemas in the U.S. And now it's been in different parts of the world, the UK, Mexico. It's crazy. You know, it's awesome.
What's the reception been like?
Fantastic. Yeah. Hopefully it's not all bad. You know,
Yeah.
that would be ridiculous if we showed it somewhere. This is terrible.
You guys obviously have a love of theatrics. Where did this love come from?
What led you to believe that?
No idea.
I can't tell you. My whole life I've always been attracted to theatrical or dark things. You know, from an early age it was Batman or Phantom of the Opera or whatever, horror movies. I just always loved it. You know, so when I was really young, I had maybe it's because I had such a fear of it. When I was like a baby, I couldn't, 5 years old, I thought everything was the scariest thing in the world.
Okay.
So I sort of adopted it, and from then on, it was like everything was the Misfits and AFI and anything that was dark and Alkaline Trio and like the lyrical content of that kind of stuff. So that was my whole adolescence. So I can't really think of any time where it wasn't just was a natural extension. It's not like we had to sit down and go, okay, well now we're gonna put on makeup. It was like just what you do when you're in a band. So particularly in the early days, it just seemed to go hand in hand. You know, as weird as it would be now for me to sit down and put paint all over my body, it was the equivalent then. I never had a second thought about it, you know. But as you grow, your interests change, and I'm not interested in covering myself, to look like a chimney sweep right now. But there was a time in my life where that was important to me, and there's still kids that come to the shows dressed that way, and that's cool because that's important for them now. But yeah, theatrics I think go hand in hand with rock music. It's weird. I would have never thought that, growing up loving rock music, I would have never thought that I would be in a band that would come to popularity in the age where if someone wears like a little bit of eyeliner, the rock community calls them a fag. I think it's hilarious because to me, it's Bowie and all of these things, that brought, the kind of theatricality to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And now if someone has like a little bit of eyeliner, some other band, you're a fag and they're fags.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I was going to ask you about that because the way that the rock and metal scene is today with very little theatrics and no old-fashioned rock stars, do you feel like the kids today are missing out on something?
Sure, but they're also like the biggest problem that I can see, and I've talked about it before, and of course people bite my head off about it, is that and they're, oh, you're not metal, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't need to be. But the metal and hard rock community is incredibly cannibalistic. If anything gets successful, or anything is seen as successful by the mainstream community, everyone is quick to talk about how shitty it is within our own community. So, say Avenged Sevenfold does super well. They sell a #1 record in the U.S. We should all be really proud because one of our own has done something so great. That's not necessarily the case. Everyone that's involved in the metal community starts, oh, they're terrible, or that's terrible. And whether you appreciate the music itself, the validity of something succeeding within our genre should be something that is celebrated by everyone. It is not. And that sort of goes hand in hand with the fact that the rock star, or the idea of a rock star, has eaten itself alive over the last 20 years. When you start with the grunge scene, which in my estimation needed to happen, because you needed to kill off things like Poison and the ridiculousness that. But once you started with that, everything that degenerated out of that was more and more getting away from fun. And you know who took the fun? Rappers. And so there's people complain, why does everybody listen to rap? Why do all little kids like rap? Because they're fucking having fun. And they talk about coming from nothing, getting money, having something, stuff that rock and roll used to be. What does rock and roll talk about now? How sad and depressing everything is, and how angry they are. But it's not positive rebellion or angst. It's either like, I'm gonna kill myself or I'm gonna kill you. There's never any personal rebellion. If I was a young kid, I would probably side with listening to like hip hop music lyrically because, I could connect. I'm fortunate that I had punk rock music and bands that I loved when I was a kid that brought me to rock and roll music, but it's becoming increasingly harder for a young kid to find rock music. So I'm incredibly thankful for all the fans of Black Veil Brides and the young kids particularly who have found this band, and when they're up against choices like One Direction, they've chose us.
Yeah.
It's cool to me.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Because the heavier genres have always attracted kids that feel sort of left out, that they don't fit into the mainstream, but as soon as somebody inside of the scene stand out and are different, they get shit for it.
Right, and the scene itself doesn't accept the people that want to be part of it. The funniest thing is that like everyone's always so quick to impress. They want to impress a different demographic than the one that they have. Every band that I know, every band guy that I know cannot wait to get different fans, not the fans that they have. To me, that's incredibly stupid. I celebrate the fans that we have. Whether our fans were made up entirely of 90-year-old women or 10-year-old boys, it doesn't matter. You know, it's like if you are lucky enough to have anyone listen to your music, you should celebrate and appreciate them. I'm happy that Black Veil Brides has grown and that the demographic is so widespread. But by the same token, I'm not going to give up on the young kids that started really with the fan base for this band. If it wasn't for that demographic or those people, we wouldn't have any success at all. As long as someone likes the band, we'll have someone to play for. But at the end of the day, we're doing this so that we can let our artistic expressions out, and thank God someone cares about it.
How's your contact with your fans? Do you have a chance to communicate with them?
Obviously, like anything, I'm not going to lie and say, yeah, we still have the chance to be so close as we used to be. But, as things grow and as we get bigger as a band, the ability to talk to each and every person is more difficult. But like I said to you before we started, every day we do a meet and greet, and it can't go wrong. It's a bunch of people that love you coming into a room. So, I enjoy the communication with the fans. I find it more and more difficult the bigger the band gets to have a direct communication line with them, but, you can't have everything.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys?
Playing a show tonight.
After that?
And then I'm going to eat. I don't know. We're done with it. This tour in, I guess, like 16 days or something. That's the end of the year. And then we've got Soundwave in Australia coming up in 2014. We've got a South American tour that we're going to announce. And we've got Singapore and a few other places that we're doing some one-offs with Rob Zombie. And, then probably take a break for a while, start writing. I would anticipate that the band will start going into the studio for another record around the summertime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's a choice that bring me.